I want you to watch these conductors and pay close attention to their use of the left hand. Great conductors, right? Do you see how effectively they use their left hand? My name is Rubén Gómez and welcome to my video presentation called The Eloquent Left Hand. In this video, I'm going to show you tips, exercises, and activities that you can practice in order to develop an independent, powerful, effective, and communicative left hand. So, one of the first things that we need to take into consideration in order to have an eloquent left hand is to gain a certain level of independence in our hands. I hope you are familiar with something like this, or this, or something like this. There are several exercises to gain independence that are not necessarily related to music, but in general, they are good to train your brain and encourage it to use its different parts. So go ahead and look online at some of these exercises and practice them. Now, more focused specifically on conducting, I want you to practice beating a pattern in your right hand, let's say 4/4 pattern, and just use your left hand to touch certain parts of your body. You can touch your nose, your ear, your hair. You can scratch your face. You can try finding something in your pockets. You can point somewhere. You can invite someone entering into your house. You can also say goodbye. You can be very creative and customize your own exercises. The technically, the technically developed left hand plays an important. Another exercise that I recommend you in order to gain independence is to beat a pattern in your right hand and try to read something out loud. Part in the overall musical result, although this hand should be able to. I know at the beginning is going to be quite a challenge, but over time you will gain more confidence. The technically developed left hand plays an important part in the overall musical result. Although this hand should be able to beat time accurately, it should not mimic the rhythmic motions of the right hand. The left hand has its own. The main goal of this exercise is to train both sides of your brain. You can also experiment changing the pace of one element. For example, you can conduct faster and keep reading at the same speed, or vice versa. The next exercise consists in making a pattern in your right hand and doing certain shapes with your left hand. I'm going to start with squares. Now I want to do circles and also triangles. Once you feel comfortable executing the previous exercises, you can explore with some irregular shapes that can boost the expressive aspect of your left hand. Once you gain some confidence with the previous exercises, you can add something different, like talking to somebody else or saying something out loud or, oh, actually, I'm doing it now. One of the things that we need to avoid if we want to have an eloquent left hand is what is called mirroring conducting, which is the problem of making the same gesture in both hands at the same time. So, if you are one of these conductors that are suffering for mirroring a lot, one of the things that you can do is just stop doing it, but still showing some information with your left hand in a kind of an static or passive way. For example, you can indicate that you want them to play loud or play soft, or you can indicate certain type of articulation. You can suggest something with a heavy character. Observe that the left hand is showing some information, but is not moving exactly as the right hand, which is a good initial step in order to avoid mirroring conducting. Another way to avoid mirroring conducting is to have only one hand active at a time, like in this example. It is important to mention that you don't have to have both hands active at the same time. The next tip that I want to give you is start making some cues, having certain instruments or dynamics or characters in your mind. Let me show you a couple of examples. In example 1, I am cueing something like a triangle or a glockenspiel, probably in a soft dynamic. Observe the lightness of the gesture based on the size and volume of the instruments. Example 2 is a more energetic and powerful cue. For example, It could be a strong entrance in brass. We can also indicate a deep Q in low instruments. Or in this example, we can indicate a lyrical entrance in woodwinds. In all of the previous examples, the entrance was in the first beat, but the dynamic, the instrument, and the intention was quite different. You can practice the same exercise imagining so many other musical intentions. You can also try at different tempos, different meters, or even cueing in different beats. You will see how the amount of expression, meaning, independence, and power will grow tremendously in your conducting. And the last tool that I want to give you in this video in order to increase the eloquence of your left hand regards with the use of the 8th La Bande efforts, which is a series of movements created by European dancer Rudolf Laban. The first effort is punch, which is usually a very direct gesture. The next one is a slash, which can be also direct and heavy. The next effort is flick, which is also direct, but is quite light. Moving on, the next one is dab, which can be used for freedom and lightness too. The next effort is press, which is slow and can be used when we need to add some support and sustain. The next one is ring, which is heavy and slow. The next one is glide, which is free and slow, ideal for lyrical lines. And the last one is float, which is also indirect and quite free. We covered a good number of tools, tips, and exercises that are going to help you tremendously developing a powerful, meaningful, and eloquent left hand. I hope you all incorporate them into your daily routine. Please leave me your comments, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!